All right, count me in whenever we're ready to start recording.
Oh, I started recording like 10 seconds ago.
Why would you do that?
Oh, it provides banter and filler material to put at the start of the episode.
Isn't that just going to sound like lazy and amateurish?
Eric, it's what everyone's doing. Welcome to Spec Media. Enjoy the episode.
Podcast premise is confusing enough as is.
All descriptions of events, people, planets, and species are real. Like fictional real. No fake fictional facts here. The observations, commentary, and analysis are our own. If it isn't clear, what you're about to hear is a parody that is not affiliated with the podcast, networks, films, or TV series we're spoofing.
Listener supported. WNYC Studios.
If you've got a business, you need great talent for that business, but you don't have time to go searching through thousands of resumes across a central finite curve to find those candidates. What you need is the right tools, smarter tools, designed to find the best candidates in any timeline. Tools like RickRecruiter. With RickRecruiter, you'll post your job to an infinite amount of job boards across the central finite curve, all with one easy click. You can be sure the job is seen by the right candidates, Ricks, Mortys, Beths, even Jerry's, no matter what timeline you come from. RickRecruiter even has smart matching technology, so you only see the most qualified candidates who can live in the physics that match your dimension. And our algorithms ensure you see only the top candidates. No tall Mortys here. So it's no wonder that 80% of employers who post on RickRecruiter get qualified candidates from the site in just under a sol or similar time unit. Right now, OTM listeners can post jobs on RickRecruiter for free. That's right, for free. Just go to rickrecruiter.com/fake-ad.
This is On the Media. I'm Bob Garfield. Brooke Gladstone is away this week. Again. Sometimes a disaster is just a disaster, but often it also creates an opening to talk about underlying problems. Very often that problem is climate change. And so it is with the most recent attacks by off-world aliens known as predators that killed a number of private security contractors and a squad of American soldiers in Iraq this week. Elizabeth Colbert, a staff writer for The New Yorker, reported this week on how climate change has been expanding the predator's hunting range. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
When we think of catastrophic weather events related to climate change, we tend to think about hurricanes or droughts. You say predator attacks should be included? What do we know about predators?
Predators, or Yautja, or Hishkate, are sentient off-world humanoid creatures with highly advanced technology that come to Earth to periodically hunt humans, especially warriors of any sort.
You opened your story in 1999. Can you pick it up there?
We introduced our story through the eyes of a government agent in Yellowstone National Park, working for a top-secret agency. He had discovered evidence of a killing spree by 3 out-of-control young blood predators. It was puzzling to him because this alien species prefers to hunt in conflict-ridden third-world nations. And the agency kept coming back to the fact that a massive heat wave had hit Yellowstone Park.
We all know why predators prefer conflict zones. It makes it easier to find warriors. But heat waves? Why would heat waves correlate with predator attacks?
For a long time, predator attacks were seen as a third world problem. The first set of attacks mainly happening in areas undergoing strife or civil war, like Cambodia during the Vietnam War, Beirut, or Valverde. But researchers soon discovered that they are almost exclusively occurring during heat waves.
We actually have a clip from one of the survivors of that Valverde attack.
Only in the hottest years this happens. And this year it grows hot. We begin finding our man. We found them sometimes without their skin. And sometimes much, much worse.
And you say this trend is only increasing?
Starting in the 1990s, we begin to see the predator's range expand, including a famous incident in Los Angeles that killed 26 people during that historic heat wave that hit 109 degrees. Astrobiologists hypothesize that these temperatures probably match the temperatures on the predator home world, Yautja Prime.
And it's not just predators that are showing up in unexpected places. What other life forms have you been able to correlate with warming temperatures?
Aliens, also known as xenomorphs, are non-sentient endoparasitoids, which the predators often hunt as the ultimate game. These are terrifying creatures, all black, with long heads, retractable mouths, and acid blood. They look like something out of the nightmarish drawings of surreal artist H.R. Geiger. Ever since the Predator attack in Los Angeles in the 1990s, aliens have also been very closely linked to warming climates and increased humidity. Though, there was one report of predators hunting aliens in Antarctica. Few scientists took it seriously.
Now, predator attacks have been occurring almost as long as humanity has existed, with recorded hunts taking place in feudal Japan, colonial India, and during the American Civil War. Just to be clear, no heat wave and ensuing predator attack can exactly be traced to climate change. There's just no smoking gun.
What we can say is that climate change increases the likelihood and the duration of heat waves and, thus, predator attacks. So we've seen predator attacks increasing in frequency from one every generation to one every 5 years to now we are seeing multiple predator attacks every hunting season.
Journalistic ethics have long tabooed linking climate change to predator attacks. Politicians, too, have flinched from drawing a straight-line connection. Here's a press conference with President Obama in 2012.
As you know, Mark, we can't attribute any particular predator attack to climate change.
But has that abundance of caution mutated in sort of incautious denialism? Because the science connecting the weather and the climate is being applied to predator attacks.
That's right. One example is particularly profound. An analysis was done by researchers at the University of Cape Town, looking at a predator attack in Africa that was actually a civil war between rival predator tribes. And what they found was that climate change made that event 175 times more likely. You're basically moving into territory where that event wouldn't have happened in the absence of global warming. It's just not increasing the likelihood of attacks, but also their severity.
Their severity? How so?
Traditionally, predators prefer to hunt using bladed melee weapons, which are considered more honorable. These include wrist blades, the scimitar, a single-bladed weapon on the forearm, the comba stick, a retractable spear, or the glaive, a spear with blades on both ends. But in recent years, predators have been more willing to use their advanced ranged weapons as well, like the smart disc, a self-guiding discus-like device that can cut through walls, or using spear guns, and even their plasma casters, which fire high-energy, armor-penetrating plasma bolts. All of these make their attacks much deadlier.
One of the frustrations I think that some people have had with explaining the danger of climate change is not what the political right claims, which is that there's a global hoax and a conspiracy of academics, but on the contrary, that academics are very, very slow to make the sort of definitive connections that the public can relate to. By the same token, the more humans that are skinned alive with their skulls and spinal cords ripped out of their bodies would seem to be a great opportunity for the climate community to say, this issue really has great stakes for the human race. But again, all of the correlations are made with a lot of disclaimers. Can we say that climate change contributes to predator attacks full stop?
What I think science and health experts can say with certainty is that climate change has to be considered one of the key elements to an increased number of humans becoming prey in the ultimate game of survival. That's what's so important when the media reports on this sort of thing. For so long, the media has treated climate change and global warming kind as if there was a debate. And there is no longer a debate.
Do you wish the climate protection community would get some sort of borrowed interest from predator attacks?
Well, certainly. I mean, if predators creating xenomorph hunting grounds for young blood initiation rituals don't scare you, then nothing will.
All right, Elizabeth. Thank you very much.
Bob, it's been my pleasure.
Elizabeth Colbert is the staff writer for The New Yorker. Her most recent article, The Yautja Killing Fields, appears in this week's issue.
Hey everybody, this is Michael, one half of the Cummings brothers and the producer of this podcast. I got some of those podcast news and notes to tell you at the end of the episode. Next week, we're going to be back with episode 3, which is part 2 of Dan Carlin's hardcore history series on the battle for Endor, Behold the Forest Moon. In true Carlinian fashion, we are running long. Again, we're addicted to context. But we wanted to send some other thank yous to the incredible people who helped us out this week. We couldn't have made this episode without some of our voice talent. First, our narrator and President Obama is the voice of Justin Ruppel, a longtime collaborator of ours. He's an actor, impressionist, stand-up comedian, voiceover artist, overall just a very funny guy. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at @TheRuppel. And of course, the excellent Elizabeth Colbert was provided by Angela Sonner, an actress and acting coach and stage manager who lives in Los Angeles. You can find her work at estisarts.com, ESTIS arts.com. She's currently stage managing an excellent play, Evangeline, the Queen of Make-Believe, which runs from March 29th to April 8th, 2018 at Plaza de la Raza in Los Angeles. For more information on acting lessons, go to estisarts.com. Finally, a big thank you to you, the listener. If you've come this far, well, maybe you're willing to go a little farther. That's right, I quoted The Matrix, and we're going to ask you to rate and review the podcast in iTunes. I know every podcast asks for this because we listen to a ton of podcasts, but it really, really does help, and it especially helps if you're a brand new podcast like ours, which is independent, so we're not getting any of those bumps from other podcasts. So please rate and review to help spread the word. Also, if you can follow us on social media, at Spec Media Pod on Twitter and Facebook, and share the words on those platforms along with Reddit, that's the best way so that other people can hear about the podcast. We'll see you next week.